Hey, we're back. Today I found myself paying more attention to the quality of my thoughts. I'm not sure how to define it. The tendency my thoughts go towards, go in, the type of thoughts I have. It's interesting to take a step back and just pay more attention. Um, you start to see loops. I start to see loops in the way I think. And one of them is trying to preemptively recognize potential places of insecurity in my life. So, this one you could tell it's hard for me to connect to and discuss because I keep on looking away from the camera. It's a complicated one for me. And I don't fully understand the relationship between my thoughts and their, like, the thoughts that come up and what I truly connect with. And that's a big statement. The thoughts that come up and what I connect with. And I think with enough attention, one can realize that thoughts in and of themselves are not me. Now, that statement is not unheard of. I'm not the first to make it, of course. And honestly, when I say it, I can kind of understand it, but a part of me kind of just knows that it's the truth. It's not fully felt yet. And despite that questioning, it still feels the case. At the very least, I want to live with the idea that the thoughts that I'm having aren't inherent to a deeper aspect of what it is to be Joe, or conscious or aware. It's helpful, I believe, that there is a lot of fruit that can come. There's utility in disconnecting a little bit, because at a certain point I have these thought patterns, and some of them just aren't productive. They aren't thoughts that are beneficial to my life. So, like, this anxiety I have around my old roommate. Like, yeah, maybe there's something that I could benefit from paying attention to. But the anxiety, the thoughts are things that, it's like, oh, did I leave that relationship in the wrong way? Maybe that's something to consider. Maybe that's something that I should spend time thinking about. It's also an area where I want to be more picky about what I spend my time thinking about, right? Like, if I fully connect with the idea that my life has a bigger purpose, there's something important that I can do with my time. There is a way I can use my time productively. Then I start to think, well, is me being worried about whether I left my last roommate in the most ideal way worth my time to be concerned about? Like, sure, the way I act in relationships probably indicate my tendencies generally. So there's benefit to seeing, like, hey, I did this certain thing. Why is it that I acted that way? Like, what made me feel like I wanted to get out of that house? And so was I potentially rude in the way I left? Was I this? Was I that? Like, there's these things, like, I don't know how effective it is to ruminate on them. And is it rumination? I'm not sure, but to spend time thinking about them, like, maybe they're on my mind, so that's valid. But I going back to the original proposition, potentially these thoughts aren't as solidified as they should, as I've initially seen them as. So I have, like, am I going to be thinking the same way tomorrow, or does having this simple conversation about my anxiety around that situation going to allow it to sift away? And so this kind of turns into a conversation of, like, oh, I have these anxieties about, like, a past relationship. But it's also, like, recognizing, okay, what is the nature of these thoughts arising? And is it true, like I've heard, that they're going to pass away? Because my sister's cats are singing out there in the living room. So just something that I'm spending time considering, like, what is it that is happening with thoughts, and how much control do they actually have over our perspective? And I think that there's a chance that there's less substance behind the thought than I originally was able to recognize. So it may be helpful for me to be able to have a level of consistent perspective underneath thoughts of, maybe like deeper values, or so if a thought does come up, I can weigh that against a perspective that is more defined, because these thoughts seem to come out of anxiety as well as unknown places. Like, they kind of just pop up. So it's like, I'm wondering, what does it look like to establish something deeper, something more concrete? So if you all have any values that you assuade to, I don't know if that's actually a proper use of the phrase, or this prescribe to, what values are those that you hold above other choices, or that you use to make choices? That's a question that I have. That's something I'm curious about. That's something I'm considering. What values can I present into my life that will help me in the navigating of it? So yeah, just something that I'm thinking about thoughts, thinking about the power of them and the place that they have in our life, and how to relate with them, and how to understand and connect. And yeah, I really appreciate all the comments and the support. I do. It's been kind of a blessing to be able to connect with like-minded people. So yeah, hope you guys are having a wonderful night, or day, or life, whatever that means. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's a struggle. But the transition's been good so far, all things considered. I think that I'm really grateful for the work I've done in the past, because it makes these sorts of transitions a bit easier for me. They used to be pretty hard. And I'm looking forward to the future. And I am really grateful for the place that I have to stay now, and the family that I have. I really got lucky with my family. Even though we've gone through some trials and tribulations, we've really come to a place of unity in a way that I didn't expect to happen. So I appreciate you guys, And I also appreciate the viewers. That was directed towards my family, but I also appreciate the viewers. And you know, I appreciate that I can kind of connect with a higher purpose in all of this. And some comments have helped with that. With letting me feel like, hey, you know what, I'm doing, like, yeah, let me reconnect with the fact that I'm doing this for myself. At the end of the day, I hope that it's fruitful for other people. I truly do. But like, I show up and record these because it's super beneficial for me to be able to work through these thoughts through talking and connecting. And even just putting this out into the world, I think is a super valuable skill that I hope to cultivate. So yeah, I could babble on. Thank you for listening, and peace.